All right, so we're on to number 2. So actually go ahead, pause, and I would like you to read the problem to yourself, and I would like you to circle key numbers, box in any math action words that you see, and if there's a question, underline it. So hit the pause, take a moment to read it, and then hit unpause or play, and we'll see what we should circle and box and underline. Okay, go ahead, pause for me. All right, so let's look what we have to do. So number 2 says they want us to use math action word, an area model, that's a math related word, to explain the product. I think we know what product is. That's the answer to that's a multiplication problem. So we're going to explain the product of 7 and 2/10 and 6. And what they want us to do is write the product, once again, the answer to a multiplication sentence. They want it in standard form, they want it in word form, and they want it in expanded form. So going back to what we did in the first few lessons in Module 1. So here is our expression, 7 times 6, or sorry, 7 and 2/10 times 6. I'm going to draw my area model. And when we draw our area model, we want to make sure we label it correctly, because we might be losing some points. So it's put into 2 boxes because there's 2 digits in 7 and 2/10. So now I've set this up for you. I would like you to pause, and I would like you to now go on your own and see if you can solve this problem using the area model, and see if you can get your answer in standard form, expanded form, and word form. And then we will come back and we'll review, and I would hope if you make a mistake, you will make the changes as we go. So go ahead and hit pause and complete on your own. All right, we're back, and let's double check to make sure we have all the correct information. So I know my decimal point goes right there. And I'm going to start in this box, which represents what place value? It should be the tenths, and we have 2 of them. And now we have the ones place value. And how many do you have? We have 7. And what are we doing? Are we multiplying, adding, or subtracting, or dividing? We are multiplying. And we're going to do 7 and 2/10. We're going to make 6 copies of it, so we're going to have the number 6 over here. And then now it's a matter of plugging in the numbers inside the boxes. 6 times 2/10, well, that's going to be 12/10, and we'll just write the number 12 right there. And then we got 6 times 7. I'm hoping that you have the correct basic math fact. If not, make the change now. Well, 6 times 7 is actually going to be 42. And now we're going to ask ourselves, hey, do we need to do some bundling? It looks like in the tenths we've got 12. And we're going to need to take that 1 and move it over to the ones, and then drop down that 2. And then hopefully that you remembered your decimal point right there. So that 1 joins the 42 ones, and by joining that, that means we're going to be adding. So 42 ones plus 1 ones gives me 43 ones. And so now I'm looking at 43, and now I have to bundle that. Well, I know the 4 is going to move, and it's going to actually move out into the tenths, or the tens box, but it's not there, so we'll just place it right outside the ones box, and then we'll bring down the 3. And so here's our answer in standard form. So I'm hoping that you put this answer right here in standard form. We have 43 and 2/10. All right, expanded form. And if you wrote it using fractions, that's okay. Or if you did it using decimals, that's okay. So we're just going to break apart each place value, and we're going to make a multiplication sentence out of it. Well, let's start with the highest place value, which is at 4. Well, what place value is that in? Well, that should be in the tens, so that we have 4 of them, so we get 4 times 10, in parentheses, plus 3 times 1, so we have 3 ones, plus 2/10. So we can either write it as 2 times 1 over 10. Or, if you did decimal, and I'm going to erase it, you don't need to erase if you did 1 over 10, but if you did a decimal, your decimal would have been 0.1. And that's expanded form. Now we got word form for this answer, for 43 and 2/10. And just how I just said it is how I'm going to write it. 43 and, because that represents the decimal, 2/10. So give yourself a thumbs up if you got all of that information down and you got it correct. If you did, that you would have earned 4 points for that just one problem.